Hi, Catherine. I'm going to run through your questions for you, but I'm going to show you a couple of tips. And I do this myself when I'm looking at templates because a lot of the times when we have like literally thousands of templates in our catalog, I can't remember myself what particular style sheet a certain background color or thing may come from. It changes depending on the template. So what I suggest you try, or what I suggest everybody uses, and we have a bit of a tip in our members page there on using Firebug. If you can get Firefox for Mac, see if you can get an extension called Firebug. So it would be Firebug for Firefox, and it's a fantastic little extension you can add to Firefox. But back to you. What this extension does, it allows you to look at an area of the page. Like we have these little floral patterns up here. You can look at an area of a page, you can right click and do inspect element with Firebug, and a little window will pop up. Oftentimes it'll pop up right down at the bottom of your browser and you can detach it. I like to detach it and move it around. But what it does is, let's say we hover over the different div classes, right? And we can hover right over until we get to this container wrapper section 1. Okay, so basically what we'll want to do is usually for a background image or color, it's going to be the highest level div container, and usually it's going to start with a container wrapper. Okay, that's the generic name we use for our sort of sections in the middle of the page, and then we add a class, and this class we're calling section 1, and here is the information for section 1. It's in the styles, and it's line 879. And there's the background color. You see when I hover over it, that's the background color. And then there's the background graphic right there, the section1-bg.jpg. Okay, so if we go to styles, line 879, so we're going to go to our site, our styles, styles.css, move down to line 879, and now we have our different areas of the page here, and there's section 1 right here, and there's the style. So if you wanted to change it to white, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, right, and there we go, we can save it here. Now there's other graphics that are being applied here, right, and these are section 1 left, top, and we also have this background JPEG. So what we'll do is we can just save the style sheet. We have the page open and we just have to refresh, right? And refresh again. There we go. So we have a little bit of improvement here, but we still have this yellow background here. So, and that is the different bits and pieces. We have the, I'm just going to take you down here a little bit because they animate in a little bit. We're just going to take a look at where these are from. And this one's a little bit different because we actually have an animations.css. Now, chances are you're probably going to want to remove the link to this particular file from your page because what it does is, here's our English right here, it provides that graphic animation from left to right as you sort of scroll down the page there a little bit. So we'll just get to that right here. Let me just see where it's being loaded in here. There it is right there. Right. If we remove this particular file right here, okay, I just noticed an issue with the English.htm page, which I'm going to fix, and that is the showcase section. It actually has an error. So it looks like you've put text in there, which is fine, and you've gotten rid of the slider, but the section wasn't closed off, so it's interfering with the bit below. So let me just go and fix that. Okay, now we can get back to work because I've removed the offending code. Basically, when you deleted some things, you took one extra div tag out of this section here. And what happens is any properties that are applied to the showcase section up above, they would also affect the contents down lower in the page because that div tag wasn't completely closed off, which means the showcase was wrapping around all other styles, which makes it a little bit difficult to edit consistently. Okay, so now we can go back to taking a look at modifying the background colors of the English for section 1. And there we go. With a quick refresh of the page, now that entire section is white because what we've done in our styles.css right here, I'm just going to go back and reverse some of the stuff here that I was playing with. Okay. I'm just going to go back to the way it was. Okay, so this is the way it started off. We would change this color here to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. That's our FFF color, or whatever color you want to put in there. So we'll save that, sort of start over, and I'm just going to refresh the page here. Okay, so we still, oops. Okay, and my next point was there are different graphics that make up the rest of the section. Okay, because we have the top filigrees up here and the lines, and we have a grunge pattern over here. Okay, and so basically a lot of the background of this section is made up of graphics. So if you want to go to a solid white background, we would get rid of the section 1 background. Now this is the actual color of the image that's coming up. So if I were to actually create a new page, what I'm going to do is go to the graphics folder and pull out the section 1 background. And sometimes you can actually take a look at just the folder here, or look at the folder through your file manager, and you can see some of the different colors and things coming up. But there's the section 1 background graphic there. If we just pop it onto a page, it's probably going to be a very, very small image, right? Yeah, there it is there. But you see, that's the actual background color that's being shown. So if we get rid of the image right here and just go with the color, so we're going to get rid of that. We're just going to go with the color, and we save, right? Let's just see if that does the trick as my example here. See, it only does part of it because the rest is actually a set of graphics as well. So what we can do is, I'm suggesting you get rid of these next 3 here because they all have graphics being loaded in, right? And this is something, if you need help coloring the changes, we can do that for no charge. Okay, you just let us know what color you want and we'll modify all those graphics. But as that goes, get rid of that, hit refresh, and now you have a solid white background. So that answers the question of which CSS file, and it's a combination of different styles. So you can now copy this color in place here, and that is the color you would have for that section, which is probably going to be a very light yellow maybe. Yeah, there it is right there. Okay, let's go back here. Your next question was local search. I will quickly show you where to do that. Now you're using Dreamweaver, so we want to go into the library and the shared and the search. Wait a minute. Oh, Google search, there it is right there. I'm going to go to code view, and you're replacing this ID right here. Now how do you replace that ID? You do have to sign up with Google. I'm going to send you a link that shows you where to do it. But in a nutshell, I'm just going to pull up an extra page, type in Google CSE, Custom Search Engine. Okay, you'll need to create a Google account if you don't already have one. And basically you sign in, you create ad, right? Type in all the details, the name of your website, right? Hit create. It's going to create, and then you go to get code, and this is the bit of information you need. But when you go to copy it, it's going to select everything. So basically you just copy all this, and I suggest you just at the bottom of the page here, paste it in, grab this little snippet right here, and paste it in place up here. Okay, then you can get rid of that, and that's all you need to do. No, you can use CC 2004. I use all versions. As a matter of fact, the only thing you can't use for Dreamweaver is anything previous to Dreamweaver 8, which is quite a bit older. Yeah, so you can use any version of Dreamweaver, Dreamweaver 8 on up. CC 14, I use that all the time. If you're using BB Edit, you can definitely edit the content, but I suggest for the library items you use Dreamweaver, so that way these are called assets or include pages. So when you edit, say, the website name, that's going to save and update all the pages in your site. With BB Edit, you would have to go through each individual page and update the website name. With Dreamweaver, you just have to go into the website name, a library asset or library file, and do that. Do I have tutorials for Apple? No, unfortunately I don't. Because the updating of the content, as long as you're using Dreamweaver, it's the same on an Apple or a Windows PC. Right? I tend to assume that everybody's just using Dreamweaver if they're on a Mac, and the updates would typically be the same for everybody. Unable to find a color specifications for links, initial hover and return. I stuck them in each content page. Which CSS should I use? Let's go find out. I'll take an example of this piece of text here, which I've linked. If we just do a inspect element with Firebug, right here it tells us styles, line 72. There's the A color right there. So we'll go back to our styles that we have open right here, and we're just going to go scroll right up to and find, right? I can close that now. Go down to line 72, and there's the links, and there's just the regular reference, there's the hover, and there's the focus. Now I don't have a visited because typically this will target a visited link as well. You want your visited to be the same color, but maybe not. Maybe you want to do something like this, copy and paste, then do the quote, and then visited, and then you can change the color for the link right there, and that way you don't have to do it in every single page. And where we go. There's so many moving parts. Have been helpful to have one-page system describer architecture, roadmap, or changes. Yes, most people don't really require that much information. They just take it. And most people don't actually pull them apart and redesign them, kind of like you're doing. You wanting to change the color in the background and things like that. We don't get a lot of requests for that. We actually have custom services. We offer to do the color change free of charge. So if anybody wants to change the color, we just do it for them. And because the level of technology changes and the level of whatnot changes, if you want to go in and change different things, that's where Firebug comes in. You can take a look. You can use Firebug as the tool, and that's what I recommend to any developer if you want to go in and do a roadmap or something like that. I have done roadmaps in the past, and it actually ended up being just as much support as it was for offering a free color change and or suggesting a general tool such as Firebug to go and discover which CSS was being used, because I would say here's where your particular comes from, and then I would have more support questions on, well, you know, it didn't work for me, can you go and look at it, and all that sort of stuff. So I've been down that road before. Unfortunately, it didn't really seem to satisfy a lot of folks. So like I said, free color change, we offer that. If you want sections to be a different color, you let us know and we can change that for you for no charge. As well as, you know, if you have any questions, we have our ticket center, and Firebug is a fantastic tool for going through the CSS and determining which pieces do what. So you said you haven't been able to access your account using Firefox. You have in Safari similarly 2 attempts to send a trouble ticket have been unsuccessful. Pressing the create ticket, I have no idea about that. Do you have Chrome? You should be able to get Chrome for your, a lot of our customers use Chrome. I would suggest trying that. That's the only thing I can think of. But yeah, I wish I could give a better answer on the roadmap for that. But like I said, to actually take somebody through, like I said, I've done that before, and for whatever reason, maybe I didn't do it correctly. It didn't have very much success. It actually ended up creating just as many questions because I guess folks wanted to go and try experimenting and do things on their own and whatnot that didn't have the skill sets to do it, and then I ended up having to train them on how to use things like Firefox or Adobe Photoshop and things like that. So it became a bit more of it was a lot easier for us just to offer the service to change the colors for you for no charge. It took less time and ended up with a much better result than trying to basically teach people what I do with a roadmap where it gets a little bit complicated or above the skill set that was there.